Shalom family. We're in the third week of June and it's a roller coaster of epic proportions. Have you got your safety belt on? I most certainly do not, because I want to be flipped out and rising through the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. This clown world is becoming crazier by the second, and sign after sign after sign just heralding the soon return of Jesus Christ for his bride that is at the door, imminently about to happen. Heralded by prophecies and signs and wars and rumors of wars and pandemics and epidemics and storms and volcanoes and earthquakes and signs in the heavens and everything, and people are still not looking. So let's look at the last week's news that has jumped out. The first one is AI generated videos are becoming so realistic, have become so realistic that they are difficult to spot. Gives a whole new meaning to the words fake news. Google's Veo 3 AI video generation model has been put to the Will Smith eating spaghetti test. This has become a popular metric for evaluating the realism of AI generated videos. Users generated videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti using Veo 3, and the results are significant improvements in realism over previous attempts. The videos are so realistic, it is cause for concern. People have to train their eyes to spot the fakes. Now, I watched the videos. They show you the videos they did of Will Smith eating spaghetti 3 years ago, and you can clearly see it's AI generated and rubbish. And now, 3 years later, it looks exactly like he's sitting there eating spaghetti. What gives it away is the AI forgot spaghetti doesn't have a crunching sound like when you're eating crisps, and it's got the crunching happening while he's chewing. So that's the only giveaway. The actual look and everything else, absolutely spot on. And then if you go watch the videos they've made that show you how good AI is with this new iteration, it looks like real people giving real news stories with a giant kraken coming out of the ocean, a UFO, spaceships behind them, everything. It looks real. And that sets you up perfectly for the great deception. And the hour is now. So it's super exciting. And you've seen the Bigfoot and Yeti and Star Wars clone troopers doing their blogs on YouTube, and it looks absolutely brilliant, better than Hollywood could do. And it's trending. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers watching what AI is creating in seconds. The great deception is ready to go. The only thing waiting is for the church to leave. China's CCP mandates churches to alter their worship music to include songs and lyrics praising communism. The mandate has sparked serious concern, and it is viewed not merely as a formal adjustment, but a deliberate shift intended to displace God from the center of worship and replace him with loyalty to the Communist Party. The plan is part of the nation's Sacred Music Ministry Blueprint for 2025, which will advance China's plan to install elements of communism and Chinese patriotism within Christianity. Now, they've been attacking Christianity from within for a long time. They have only so many allowed churches, Protestant churches in China, and they are fully controlled. And now they're pushing into the church and changing the actual wording, the way you can preach, the way you can worship, and bringing in posters and elements pushing communism as more important than God. It's an all-out war against the truth being waged now from within as well as without. So please pray for the Chinese Christians, the underground Chinese Christians, and those who are struggling to live their lives of faith in a world, a country that is set 100% militaristically against them, that will affect their private credit scores, their ability to live, to find jobs, to provide for their families, just because they are believers. But God has them. There are miracle stories coming out of that country, and the church is growing. Keep them in prayer. Apple introduces digital passport IDs, marking major step towards normalized digital ID integration. Mark of the beast coming up fast. What began as convenience quickly becomes the new baseline for showing ID in a wider scenario of situations. Apple's latest announcement at WWDC 2025 marks another step in the steady integration of digital identity into everyday mobile technology. With iOS 26 set to introduce passport-based digital IDs in Apple Wallet, users will be able to present a digital form of identification at supported TSA checkpoints and in certain apps requiring age or identity verification. Apple reiterated the feature is not a replacement for your physical passport, but it will serve as an official ID for domestic travel and other select uses, giving you more and more options, all tied to your digital wallet and online identity, which they will then control. All of this will come together to a point where you will not be able to buy or sell lest you have the mark. Kill the infidel Americans. Al-Qaeda issues direct order to Muslims in the United States. And the order is to firstly attack and kill the leadership, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and everybody involved, including Elon Musk and all of his people. And then every other American they can, but to make it count and to do it immediately for Islam and do it now. That is what's on your shores right now and amongst you, walking around between you, thanks to largely the Biden-Harris administration and just years of preparation for a time such as this. Again, should you need to fear? No. You need to have God as an integral part of your life and a focus of your life all the time, so that if one of these people decide to target you, they're going to find themselves surrounded by angels and led to Jesus Christ swiftly. Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Norway, and the UK turn on Israel. No surprise. In a distinctly hostile act, the foreign ministers of Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Norway, and the United Kingdom announced in a joint statement on 10 June sanctions and other measures targeting Israeli politicians Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich for inciting violence against Palestinians in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria. The extraordinary joint statement sanctioning duly elected members of the parliament of a fellow democratic nation included the following clause: "We are steadfastly committed to the two-state solution, which is the only way to guarantee security and dignity for Israelis and Palestinians and ensure long-term stability, peace and security in the region. But it is imperiled by extremist settler violence and settlement expansions," still calling the Israelis settlers in their own country and occupiers in their own country. And they wonder why Israel's not impressed, why God's not impressed. Russia warns Trump against bombing Iran. Russia's top brass issued stark warnings to Donald Trump, urging the White House to stay out of the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran as American military assets bear down on the region. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rabkov declared the U.S. military assistance to Israel would radically destabilize the Middle East, as Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said the world was millimeters from catastrophe. She's not wrong. The head of the SVR Foreign Intelligence Service, Sergei Narishkin, described the situation as critical and added his agents were in contact with special intelligence services of both Iran and Israel. Putin, meanwhile, reiterated his willingness to act as a mediator between the warring parties, as he seeks to position Moscow as the regional power broker. Fears that the US could wade into another war in the Middle East grew yesterday when a security source revealed Trump and his team were considering a number of options, including joining Israel in strikes against Iranian nuclear strikes. On Tuesday, Trump openly mused on social media about killing Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Ayatollah, and said, "We are not going to take him out, not for now." So Russia very adamantly wanting to be the power broker that brings all of this back to normalcy, peace and stability, but Russia's embroiled in Ukraine and can't even bring that to an end, or peace and stability and security in that situation. But the threat unveiled right beneath the surface aimed at Donald Trump and America to stay the heck out of what's going on between Iran and Israel. America, at this point, has already approved plans and is musing about when to get involved. So it's going to be a really interesting next 48 hours in the Middle East to see what happens. We see American assets and UK assets steaming into the region quite speedily. Iranian Supreme Leader warns Israel, declaring the battle begins. He's a bit confused because the battle has already begun. Iran's Supreme Leader issued a series of apocalyptic warnings to US Donald Trump. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei threatened Israel on Tuesday night with disturbing posts of an image that showed balls of fire raining down on an ancient city as a sword-wielding man stormed the gate. "In the name of noble Haidar, the battle begins," he wrote in Farsi, referring to Ali, whom Shia Muslims consider the first Imam and rightful successor to the Prophet Muhammad. He also shared a separate message in English saying, "We must give a strong response to the terrorist Zionist regime. We will show the Zionists no mercy." They also released a public video that they made showing an Iranian stroking a nuclear bomb, just saying it's about time or any moment now, or it's ready. Watch, I'll clip it on at the end of this. So they're really stoking what the reactions could be. Trump urged Iran's unconditional surrender and even issued a death threat to Khamenei after he abruptly left the G7 summit in Canada. He said the US knows where the Supreme Leader is hiding, but doesn't want him killed for now. "We know exactly where the so-called Supreme Leader is hiding," he wrote. "He is an easy target, but he is safe there. We are not going to take him out, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin." So the threats out there from Trump to Iran. Iran's threatened Trump. Russia has put that unveiled threat out there if anybody gets involved here. So this is a powder keg that could go south very fast. Israel would be very happy for America's assistance in whacking some more nuclear sites that they're looking at, that they probably need to get deeper penetration on, which you can only really get with the B-2 and the B-52, which are in the region and able to move in to assist Israel should Trump decide that is the correct action to take, which he should. The battle has begun. It has been started. Everything is in play. Might as well join in and get it done once and for all. The whole region is breathing easier already because of what Israel's doing, even though they're all screaming at Israel and saying Israel shouldn't be doing this. Trump's one-liner about Iran. CNN anchor and chief political correspondent Dana Bash recounted her conversation with Trump during an interview on the network with John Berman. And yes, I know CNN's not trustworthy, but this was hilarious. "We of course support Israel, obviously, and supported it like no one's ever supported it," Trump said. "Iran should have listened to me when I said, I don't know if you know this, but I gave them a 60-day warning. Today is day 61. Trump then urged Iran to come to the table and make a deal before it's too late. In a rather relevant note, Trump told Bash that the people I was dealing with are dead, the hardliners. So what you're saying is Israel has killed the people who you were dealing with, Bash asked. They didn't die of the flu, and they didn't die of COVID, Trump said, which is hilarious. They definitely died by Israel, and more of them on a daily basis. Now, the war's continuing. Strikes on both sides are continuing. More damage to Iran than to Israel. Multiple airstrikes have hit Tehran, targeting police headquarters, missile bases, and Khomeini's underground facilities. Iran has responded with ballistic missile launches, introducing the Saju MRBM intercepted by the US THAAD system. Internet blackouts across Iran persist. The Ayatollah declared war is met with war, strike with strike. Iran evacuates airspace. Israel moves civilians to shelters and underground parking lots. And the death toll in Iran has surpassed 585 and climbing. Trump said good luck to Khomeini and signaled final decisions still pending. Erdogan said Netanyahu has surpassed Hitler in genocide. Russia has warned the US against military aid to Israel, claims that they are millimeters from catastrophe. The UK and the US are preparing for potential coordinated strikes on Iran, and European diplomats are meeting with Iran in Geneva for nuclear talks. What's the point? That ship has sailed and sunk. Hezbollah said they may enter the war if Iran risks collapse. Sirens in Jordan, missile interceptions over Judea and Samaria and Jerusalem. They should leave the ones over Jerusalem to hit, Temple Mount, Dome of the Rock. Who knows? If they shoot it and break it, then whose fault is it really? That's my opinion. Turkish troops inspect the Iranian border. The UK is weighing their involvement. Protests have erupted in Londonderry. Violence over immigration. Loads more. Taliban appears at Russia's St. Petersburg Economic Forum. Brazil refuses to evacuate citizens from Tehran. And on and on. The news is crazy. It's wild. It's an explosion waiting to happen. We're seeing natural disasters off the charts. Volcanoes going off. Earthquakes. Everything. Solar flares through the roof. It is insane. Here in South Africa, we're having floods and storms. South Africa just declared a state of emergency here. South Africa declares national state of disaster in South Africa after weeks of severe weather that has battered multiple provinces. And we've had multiple deaths from the floods, from the weather, and currently this week again, that whole storm system is hitting the coastal regions once more. So they're not even done fixing the last problem, and the next wave has hit us once more. So a national state of disaster due to severe flooding, loss of life, and extensive damage to infrastructure and property in the Eastern Cape, Western Cape, Free State, and KwaZulu-Natal, which is large parts of South Africa. NASA warns of potential blackouts amidst solar flare that's erupting right now. It is crazy. Millions are bracing for a powerful heat dome set to engulf much of America. This warning put out 4 hours ago. So how's it going? So far, so good. We're waiting. Any moment, the sound of a shofar, and we could be out of here. But while we wait, I know you're tired. I know you're frustrated. I know you're saying how much longer. But while we here, we occupy, knowing the Lord Most High is with us, as He promised, even unto the end of the age, which gives us time to share the gospel, encourage people into a relationship with Jesus Christ, and shine the light into the darkness while we're occupying for the kingdom of God. So let's make the little time we have left count. God bless. Keep looking up. Keep staying positive. Keep encouraging one another. Keep praying for one another. Keep trusting that the Lord Most High is always in control. Shofar, so good.